I'm Allison Samuels, and this is how I made it. I wrote as a kid, I'd make up stories, and my mom was a school grade teacher, second grade. So she'd bring me books and I would just read the books and then write my own stories. So vivid imagination as a young child. So by the time I got to college, Clark Atlanta University, and took classes at Spelman as well, I was pretty much focused on writing the news because everybody was in TV. All my other, classmates, everybody wanted to be on camera, and it just hit me, we're all not gonna get on camera. So let's be smart about this. What really might actually turn into a real job? And it ended up being news. I got an internship straight out of college at the LA Times, but I always wanted to do entertainment. So just on a whim, I sent Quincy Jones a letter saying, hey, I'd love to work for your company, because at that time he was coming to the end of doing The Fresh Prince. And so right after internship, I went to work for Quincy Jones. I didn't really get into the fashion until I started at Newsweek magazine, which was shortly after working at Quincy Jones Entertainment. I always loved fashion, was always fascinated by it. My mom loved fashion, just a fashion queen. So I always knew the designers, but didn't really have a desire to write about it until I got to Newsweek and started going to the shows. I love Tracy Reese, the designer. I love her clothes, I love the design she sort of makes, and I like her personality, and I like how comfortable she is in her own skin. So I really like her. I love Diane von Furstenberg in terms of the clothes that she designs, and she's an older lady and she carries herself really sort of fabulously. And I love Beth Ann Hardison. I love the way that she approaches style. She wears all these different mix of clothes, and she again is also comfortable with her age and with her gray hair, and she's just this vibrant woman, because I think style is also your personality and sort of how you wear what you have on. Key to being a great writer and the craft of being a great writer is just sort of practice and patience and just consistency. I think you just have to continue writing and writing and writing and learning the different subjects and just sort of being the master of many different tales. I think that's sort of the thing that I've been fortunate enough in my career to write about hip hop, to write about politics, to write about fashion, to write about all these different subjects. So I just feel like I'm well versed on these things and sort of know how to write about them, because there's different writing for both. It's different writing for blogs than it is when I write for a magazine. So I think you just have to sort of always be on your P's and Q's and learn from, particularly what art you're actually doing, what you're actually writing about. The writing culture has changed in terms of what people want, what editors want. Now, everybody wants everything now. And it makes it very difficult, because if you really want that hard-hitting story, you can't do that in a day. You can't do it in 2 days. You really do need that extra time to run down the people you want, and there's just no patience for that now. The last couple of months, I've done a lot of stories on the lack of roles for African American women in Hollywood, because that's sort of been having covered it for so long, I feel like we're going backwards. I'm so frustrated by the fact that, we can only get certain kind of roles. It has to be the maid, it has to be, we can't have, Michelle Obama, that's a perfect example of why can't I see a movie about a woman like her, but they won't make those movies in Hollywood. People will always ask me, why do you only write about African Americans? And I'll say, because in our meetings, there are 20 people to talk about Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber. I'm the only person who says, why not do Don Cheadle for his new show? I'm the only person who's gonna say that in a meeting. There's so many now ways to get your work out that I didn't have before, that you can get on blogs, you can write your own stories, you can get the attention of so many different people just by doing your own thing online. And so I guess I would just advise them to find those outlets, use those outlets. It's really hard to get into it, and unless you're really persistent, it's not gonna happen. And it's not enough of us in this business. So I definitely, encourage young people whenever I can to sort of, get into it. It is rewarding once you get there, but the numbers are going down. I'd like to see that change. I don't know, if it's a matter of just sort of being more persistent, getting in there. I don't know, but that somehow or another we have to, shift that, because again, sometimes you're the only voice in the room who can say, let's do this, let's do that. And if you're not in that room, then, again, Don Cheadle doesn't make it in the magazine that week. So it's really important.